Good evening and welcome back to Around the Grounds here at Finalwhistle.ie on this lovely Tuesday evening. We had action this evening from the men's first division in the SSE Electricity League, while the women's national team were in action against Sweden earlier on as well. Now we will start, of course, with the second game of today, which was the meeting between Longford Town and Cove Ramblers at Bishopsgate. Longford have been kept busy recently. They were in action, of course, against Athlone Town on Saturday. So they're back-to-back home games. They got the win against Athlone. They were looking to keep the momentum going against a struggling Cove Ramblers side this evening. With a report from Bishopsgate is Denise O'Flaherty.
Hi Diarmuid and welcome to Bishopsgate. Well, Longford Town won this game 2-0 and they moved up to third in the table, but they were made work hard for this win by a dogged Cove Ramblers side. The visitors actually came close to taking the lead in the 16th minute, but Brendan Frahal headed just over the bar from a corner. Town took the lead in the 25th minute. Sam Verdon laid the ball off to Darren Craven and he struck an unstoppable shot from about 35 yards out. Luke Dennison was called into action in the 34th minute after some confusion in the Town box allowed Benyon O'Brien Whitmarsh through, but the Town netminder did very well to deny him. Eric Malloy then made it 2-0 to home side in the 85th minute when he headed home from a corner, and his celebration was actually better than the goal. He somersaulted his way over to the corner flag. Now in an opening half, both sides enjoyed some good passing. Conor Drennan broke down the field in the 15th minute and put a decent ball into the box, but it was put out for a corner. They won two more corners, and from that, Frahal headed over the bar. Down the other end, Sam Verdon should have done better in the 20th minute when he struck the crossbar from close range. Then 5 minutes later, Town did open the scoring with Craven striking that unstoppable shot. In the 34th minute then, Dennison made that save from O'Brien Whitmarsh. The second half was a bit more nervy and cagey. Ramblers made a number of changes and those players certainly made a difference. Town began to sit back and invite Ramblers onto them, but Ramblers created very little. On the 49th minute, Sam Verdon did well to turn and play the ball across the box, but there was no one there to take a shot. As the half wore on, Town supporters wondered if they would get a second, and that actually came in the 85th minute when Malloy found the back of the net from a corner. Dennison pulled off an excellent point-blank save from Kieran Griffin to keep his goal intact in the 87th minute. It's the Town keeper's fourth clean sheet in 7 games. So this result moves Town up to third in the table, and they still have a game in hand on some teams. So finished here at Bishopsgate, Longford Town 2, Cove Ramblers 0.
Perfect, Denise. Thank you for that report from Bishopsgate. We will just take a look at the league table. Just the one game, as I mentioned, took place this evening, of course, in the first division. But the victory for Longford takes them up into third place. They're level with Waterford, but thanks to goal difference, they are just marginally ahead on that one. All eyes will turn, of course, to Friday night, for the rest of the teams will be in action as well. Now, the other game that took place this evening, we will take a look at statistics, actually, sorry. Before we move on in that one, Barry Coffey remains the top goal scorer, but the goal, as Denise mentioned, for Darren Craven sees him on 3 goals for the season. Do you see there toward the bottom half of your screen on that one? But it's still tied at the top for the goal scoring tally there. And we'll take a look at the goalkeeping statistics as well in that division. Luke Dennison, of course, picking up a clean sheet tonight. That sees him tied in second place on 3 with Jack Brady and Steve McGuinness, while David Harrington is on 6, well clear of the rest in that field. Now we will look ahead and move on to the Sweden versus Republic of Ireland game that took place in Gothenburg this afternoon. Ireland, of course, looking to finish second in that group. Sweden are guaranteed top spot, but Ireland will be battling with Finland in order to gain second spot in the table. With a report from the game is Alana Canan.
The Republic of Ireland held out for a 1-1 draw against Sweden in Gothenburg this evening, nearly defying all the FIFA World Ranking odds for the win. A first-half strike from Caden McCabe stood lone until the 79th minute, when Kosovar Asalani broke through the defence and keeper Courtney Brosnan for the equaliser, leaving a nervy 10 minutes to the conclusion. A share of the spoils for Ireland on this occasion in the 2023 World Cup qualifiers, it was also Vera Pauw's 20th match in charge, and it's one they won't be forgetting in a hurry. Shiny names such as Arsenal's Sina Blackstenius and Chelsea's Magdala Eriksson sprinkled throughout the Swedish squad. They were dominant from the word go in front of a bumper crowd. They, along with Johanna Andersson and Asselani, kept Brosnan busy throughout the first half, but it was the girls in green to score first in the 43rd minute. The ball fell to Katie McCabe, who converted to take the lead, marking just the second goal their opposition had conceded in the entirety of Group A. Sweden pressed forward progressively then after the break, as they did in the opening half, rolling in the substitutions to try and cause the Irish defence more headaches. They often targeted Shelbourne's Chloe Mustaki, who picked up just her second international cap today and her first official start. The hosts peppered the Irish goal throughout, and despite their attempts to sustain the pressure, Ireland did concede to Asselani towards the end. In the last 3 minutes of added time then, Sweden had a chance to take the lead through a menacing free kick, although when it went dead it signalled the end of the match and also a sigh of relief from Ireland and their supporters. Sweden have now qualified for next year's World Cup and sit without much pressure at the top of the group's table, although tonight's result will go a long way for Ireland, who have a big battle there against Finland to get the last playoff spot for the second place.
A big thanks to Alana for sending in that report. And we will take a look at the group table from Group A, of course, of the World Cup qualification. Where, as I mentioned, Sweden are top, of course, at 19 points. Ireland now in third position with 2 points, of course, behind Finland. But they do have a game in hand there as well. Of course, a big result for Ireland to claim a point against the second-ranked team in the competition. Now, we will be back, of course, for action again this coming Friday. We have fixtures in both the men's First Division and Premier Division. You'll see them across the bottom of your screen. All games kicking off at 7:45 unless stated. UCD taking on Drogheda, Dundalk taking on Sligo Rovers, Derry City in action against Shelbourne, Bohemians taking on Finn Harp, Shamrock Rovers taking on St. Patrick's Athletic at 8 o'clock. Now we'll look ahead and move on to the First Division as well. Waterford taking on Galway United, a big tie there in regards to the top of the table meeting. Wexford taking on Cove looking to bounce back from tonight's defeat as well. Cork City in action against Bray, and Athlone Town taking on Treaty United. And that one, of course, all those games will be kicking off at 7:45. Now, we will be back tomorrow night with 3 different podcasts. At 7 o'clock, we will have the Electricity League podcast. At 8 o'clock, Luke Delaney will be back with the Rugby Show, and Alana, who you saw there reporting on the Ireland-Sweden game, will be back at 9 o'clock as well with the Women's National League podcast as well. And I'll be back to you on Friday evening, where we will have action, of course, from the Premier and the First Division in the SSE Electricity League, hoping that you will tune into all that we have to offer over the next coming days. All the reports and action will be available on the Final Whistle website this evening. And of course, we will have action as well over the next coming days across our social media platforms. So please make sure to tick on your notifications and view all of the content there. But until the next time we chat, good evening.